Good evening, and welcome to the Heikadelic Show. We would like to take this moment to let you know that viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. So sit back, have yourself a nice cool drink or hot drink, and enjoy the show. And welcome once again to the Heikadelic Show.
Hi there, my name's Mr. Wiggleton, and I'm actually the producer and janitor here at the Heikadelic Show. But anyhow, I think it's good, but it really it's pretty late show, so I don't even watch it myself, so I have no idea what it's about. But that Heiko guy, he's pretty smart. He is pretty smart. He doesn't pay me well, but he's pretty smart.
Oh, hey guys!
Hey, how's everybody?
Pretty good.
Hello, Sandra. Holy crap, number uno.
I guess she was waiting for us to get on.
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody noticed, but the picture at the beginning of the show, we changed that a little bit. I just wanted to show everybody the new gate I got at the end of my driveway. So
it's very tasteful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet the neighbors love you.
Melanie's on.
Hello.
Sandra was the first one.
Mel.
Yeah,
Hi, Joe.
well done, Sandra.
We're going to watch you soon, probably in the morning.
All right. Sounds great.
We drove Sandra crazy with last week's backside, by the way. She was still asking me questions by about Wednesday, I think.
Really? Wow. Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Howdy, Richard.
So Richard,
Hi, Richard.
Come on.
Look at that. I'm blown away. We actually have a couple of fans that are actually on when the show starts. So that can't be an accident. They must really like us.
I think they're on before we are. Before we get here, aren't they? They're already there.
Maybe it's like when you unplug your TV and it comes back on the same channel.
Who would wait for us?
In line,
you know what I mean?
That.
It just blows me away.
Yeah. And it's always
we don't pay them either. They do this at their free will.
That's right, which is even more impressive.
Yeah. What do you got there, Ringo?
Hey, Ringo.
You're getting vodka cranberry thing.
You're getting a bit ahead of yourself there, Ringo.
I know.
Well, I was just opening it. Okay. All right.
There we go.
This is not bad.
All together now. Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
There you go. Cheers. Where's mine? Hang on, man.
Well.
I like the banana splits and I love my beer. How's that?
That's perfect.
It's like a Saturday morning all over again.
Yeah.
The way it used to be.
Oh man, remember that? Getting up Saturday morning?
Oh yeah.
Get up with your brother and you sneak into the living room and you get some cereal and shit and you turn the TV on quiet because the parents are still in bed and you have that cartoon marathon, right?
Yeah.
Well,
that was freaking awesome.
When I was a lad on a Saturday morning after 5 days at school, I won't bore you with why, but I'd get up, my mum would make me breakfast, and then I had to go to school.
On Saturdays?
On every Saturday. And it wasn't like the grammar school or other school I went to, like there was a short distance to the other side of Manchester from where we were.
That totally sucks, George. You didn't have a proper childhood.
I didn't.
You didn't have your Saturday morning cartoons.
I didn't. Never had that.
Well,
so George,
I'm a bitter, twisted man because of that, as you can tell.
Very twisted.
A normal soccer team on the field has 11 players plus a goalie. Is that how it goes?
No, 10.
10 plus a goalie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soccer. Yeah.
Soccer. Yeah.
Football. I get chastised for saying soccer to my English friends. No, George, you should know better. It's football. Well, okay.
Yeah, we say that in Germany too. Fußball.
Football.
That's
It's
right.
football.
It's not my ball.
God, beat it.
You don't always say that. No offense to you Southerners from us, but it's football all over the world, except North America. And you know why they have a game called football?
Because they tried copying it.
No, they had to invent their own because they sucked at playing soccer.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
You're right. You can only have one sport, and we have two. So
yeah,
I don't think they qualified for the World Cup this time, did they? Or have they just squeaked in?
I don't know. I know it's coming up next month, eh?
November, but I mean,
November 20th.
That'll be a contentious issue, all that in Qatar, Middle East, sending something like that over. That's
you all know what our national sport is, right?
Hockey.
No, you're wrong.
Basketball.
Lacrosse.
You're wrong. Lacrosse.
Yeah. Okay.
Really? Who came up with that idea?
Huh? It's native.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lacrosse. Yeah. Of course. That was like.
You want to know actually where it started around here?
Yes, I know.
Me too. Brooklyn.
Okay.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Chiefs.
Is that a question, or are you going to just give us a statement?
No, that was the answer.
I understand. What was that? Where did it start? Sorry.
Brooklyn,
Ontario.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Chiefs.
Yeah.
You know why it started?
To stop a fight or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was kind of their training to be a warrior, right? And it was
really
brutal. Yep. A lot of people died playing lacrosse.
So what did they do? Have these little sticks with nets on the end and hurl rocks at each other? Like, what the hell?
You ever been hit by a ball?
No, the game was like, it was just to because it was like a battle, right? But the lacrosse, it was a little bit different. It was a little different, but from what I understand, the engagement on the field was very brutal, right? So you get hit with the sticks, you get beaten up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get like
all good
stuff.
It'd be interesting. We should look into this and get some stats on it, because I heard this once too, that there was like a caveman type soccer. Mm-hmm. There were no rules either. There was just one rule, and you couldn't step on someone's head. That was it. Look and what they had a rope at the end of the field, and it was so high off the ground, and you had to actually kick the ball under the rope to score. Well, it was like punching, kicking, tripping, freaking everything goes. It was crazy. Well, and then there was a thing where they tried to reenact it. They had some teams that were going to reenact that old sport.
Yeah, there was a game I remember seeing that was very much like rugby, except for there was like no rules.
Mm-hmm. It might be this,
right? But you just beat each other. Like
this one there was get the ball and get it under the string at the end of the field.
Yeah.
Well, there's
it was crazy.
Well, there's Gaelic football that the Irish play, which is like
with the small nets, right?
Yeah. No, the big net, because you can kick it between like the posts as well. Or you can score. I think that you kick it, but you can pick it up, kick it, thump somebody in the face. It doesn't matter, you know.
Yeah, that could have been it. Then
it could be it. What you're thinking of, yeah. That's in Ireland. That
savage sports,
crazy games there, don't they? Don't they have like a field hockey game that like if you play it once, you won't have any teeth left?
Well, there's the one where they actually have. Is it called hurling? And it's like a lacrosse net, but the ball is in the net, and you actually play it like wherever you want. And they don't wear helmets or anything.
Right?
Wow.
Yo, Septic Man.
So here it is. Wikipedia, because you can believe
Septic Man. Whoa. Okay. Sorry, there's a guy out here. Septic Man. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun here, but Septic Man. I have to ask. I was told once by a guy who was a septic man. What's the number one rule about cleaning out a septic? Let's see if it's the same rule as this guy has.
Don't take a sniff.
No. That's nothing. Smell. You get used to shit. Like
Well,
when
let
I
us
grew up
know
on
if
a
you can
farm,
answer that.
every shit you get used to it.
Yo, bro. Yeah.
Okay, so meanwhile, while he comes back with an answer, tell us, Ringo, what were you saying? You looked that up on Wikipedia.
Caveman, like wild men, were found in European and African areas for hundreds of years. During the Middle Ages, these beings were generally depicted in art and literature as bearded and covered in hair and often wielding clubs, dwelling in caves. And then it goes on, blah, 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 to talk about how it evolved into the sport.
Wow.
That's not what I heard. What I heard was it was developed by the natives way back. I don't know when. I don't think Stone Age, obviously, but and it was designed to help young warriors train. So anyway, something we can try and get to the bottom of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear that, fans? We're putting on a mission for next week.
Yeah.
Give us some answers.
Okay, so
Give us the origin of.
So let go to the rest of Septic Man. I'll answer him.
Okay.
Okay.
Where is he?
Don't know, man. I'm the kind of person. I'm not the kind of person you're thinking about.
Okay. What are you guys talking about? Hey, whatever we want.
Yeah.
We're talking about you. So
yeah. But
so
hey, man.
Septic as in sick, as in your septic, your blood septic.
Oh, right.
Maybe,
Yeah. That wouldn't be
Yeah.
good. No,
that's bad. That's very bad.
Hey, Septic Man, thanks for joining.
Start pumping the antibiotics.
The number one rule I heard for a septic man who actually cleans out shitters is you never say what you see.
Oh,
they say, because
if it happens in the septic system, it stays in the septic system.
Yeah, that's right. If there happens to be, this is the thing, if there happens to be a condom in there and the lady says, hey, what's that? And you go, oh, it's a condom. And hey, you've cleaned this out and my husband's been here and we don't use them. Right.
Well, here, I got a little story about a septic system issue that happened up in Northern Ontario. I'm guessing about 10 years ago. So a buddy of mine used to actually empty septic systems, and then they would bring them to a station, and then they would put them in a bigger tank, and it would do its things. So it's basically like a giant septic system. So what happened was, because it's so cold up there, usually the septic stuff in the septic system doesn't freeze down in Southern Ontario, but Northern Ontario it can get down to minus 40 degrees, so it does freeze. And so anyway, what would happen is there'd be a light covering of ice on the top of the septic system, so the water would rise to the top and freeze. So what you'd have to do if you were a delivery person was go open the septic hood, which was a true tank with a with a lockdown hood or hatch. You'd have to open the hatch, climb down the ladder over the septic stuff, right? So you're really at the top of the tank, and then you had to take a rod and knock the ice and break open the ice so that you could pour the septic. Now, what I couldn't understand about that is why don't you just dump the new stuff over the old stuff and it'll thaw out the stuff below? But anyway, apparently you couldn't do that.
Well, it might not thaw it. And then you got to go to shit.
A young guy got down to do this. So he's in the tank. He's holding on to the ladder. He pokes it. All of a sudden, this methane gas comes up, knocks him out. He passes out. And he falls inside this septic tank. And I can't remember exactly. I seem to remember his buddy went in after him and passed out. So they both drowned in a septic system.
Oh, geez.
Nice.
Gas knocked them out.
True story, though. It's not.
Wouldn't have felt the thing.
What's that?
The gas knocked them out. They wouldn't have felt the thing.
No. Obviously, it was. Yeah, it was probably painless way to go. But
Painless, stinky way to go.
Great.
how do you
eh?
tell your friends about that at a bar, right? Like, I mean, it's
Oh,
Here lies Tom Mick. Died
So-
in a
It's
great
funny.
big pile of shit.
we're talking about septic stuff, I think about a week or so ago, somewhere with somebody, and they were saying that a guy they know, and it was somewhere here local a while ago too. He was cleaning out a septic, and they found a body in there.
oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Oh,
I've
It was
got
a young lady, and she was like curled up in the corner. So it's like she ain't fitting down the
Oh.
toilet, so somebody
Right.
stuffed her in there.
what are you
Wow.
bringing us to?
Yeah.
I have no
Speak-
idea.
Just-
You know what?
You know what?
I wonder,
I figured we always go straight into the toilet, so now we're going beyond the toilet.
And here
We're-
we wanted to do was have a nice civil conversation about the the Queen and the end of an era and all
Oh,
of
come
that
on.
stuff.
Who
We
does that
had
anymore?
in the
Necrophilia
background
comes
here,
into it.
just show
we
everybody-
don't talk about the Queen.
No.
right. So in the background,
It's like politics. Yeah, it's
No, it's not. No, it's
Yeah.
no.
okay.
Um,
Anyway,
It's apolitical.
all I have to say is that somebody respectfully died.
yes.
yeah. So we'll get into that conversation a bit later because we got
With Richard?
board.
With
Yep.
Richard.
And Richard is
So-
actually, I understand he's actually been in the service of the royal family. So
Yes.
that would be interesting if you can share some things with us. And then our own DJ George flipping the discs.
Well, speaking of DJ George, we're like
Yeah.
past 15 minutes
I
in,
know.
so I think
Yeah, but hang
it's
on, let me
George's
finish.
backside time.
But did you know George has a letter from Buckingham Palace?
No, it's a
Yeah.
card. It's a card more than
Well,
nothing. Yeah, I showed it a few back in August, right?
Yeah, I think he did.
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
people are
yeah.
gone. They all
That's
got COVID. Yeah, okay. Let's see.
Well, at least I made it. If it was 100, I wouldn't have got one from the Queen, would I?
No, not
So,
anymore.
there you go. So I just squeaked in time this year, right? And got me a little envelope from the palace. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, folks, it's time for George's backside, my favorite part of the show.
I'm not
so
muted.
sit back and have a look at his backside, and you can catch George out in the club, DJ
I can make all of
that's
those.
right, flipping those discs and whatever else he does. But hey, right now, I just want you to focus on his backside and come up with some answers.
Okay, here we go. Last 2 weeks have been pretty hard, so I've gone a bit easier this week.
Whoa.
got a skull on the bottom. I'm going to say Grateful Dead just because it's got a skull on it.
Grateful Dead. Let's see.
Just because it's got a skull.
All right. Well, that could be misleading, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Or is that a monkey?
Looks like a skull.
It's a skull.
It is
Yeah,
a
it's
skull.
like a yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little.
So, American band, it's live. This is a live album from Japan, it looks like.
It could be. It is not an American band.
It's not an American band, so Kiss is out of it.
Is that a guess?
No, I'm just saying Kiss is out of it. George just wants to zap it.
I do.
So is it a UK band?
It is a UK band.
It is a UK band.
Yeah.
Is it what era?
Still going. Still going. 2 original members. Still going.
See,
Is it Tears for
Kathy
Fears?
came in right at the right time.
It's a band. It's a band.
It's not. Oh, it's not Tears for Fears.
Is that a guess?
Yes, that was a guess.
That's a guess.
Yes.
Is that a guess?
There, George, you got to do it.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not Tears for Fears. They're still around. So, is it 80s, 70s, 80s?
It's 70s and 80s, yeah.
70s, 80s, and now?
And
Did they ever stop? Wait,
No.
so it is a band name with 2 members.
original members left. Yeah.
2 original members left.
2 original members are left. The original.
Now,
Hmm.
is this band somebody's name?
No.
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 So I'm just
No,
going to
it's
give an
not.
example. Like it's not like a Billy Idol. It's It's
No.
like a
No, it's they started in the 60s, 70s, 80s.
okay,
Still-
60s. See, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you that, but because I don't want this one to drag on because Rich is waiting in the green room probably.
Yeah,
Not till 10.
We got
Oh, come on,
okay,
Rich.
here.
All right.
Come on,
All right.
Richard. You got to guess.
All right, anyone can have a guess.
No, Sandra guessed. Sandra guessed the Who.
The Who.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I thought somebody would say that, and unfortunately, it's Sandra.
Is it ELO?
ELO get as bad as Blood Rock Sausage. It's live. Oops,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's live
Sorry,
in
Rick.
Japan.
Yeah.
What was
Well, last
the
week-
live in?
Yeah.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Live in Japan.
Yeah.
So what would have been live in Japan an album? Is it a single or
Two
double?
original
Double album?
members still
It's an album from a tour.
It's
Oh,
a
the
single
live album from the tour.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Oh, like the Beach Boys? Or no?
The Beach Boys.
UK. No, they're not from the UK.
The Bee Gees. Oh no, the Bee Gees are dead. They can't tour anymore.
Yeah, there's only one. There's three, but now there's only one in the Bee Gees.
Is it Barry? Not Andy. No, not Andy. Yeah, it might
No,
be Barry, is it?
Barry's
It's the
still alive.
Clash.
The Clash.
Wow.
Well, it's not happened again, has it?
UK band.
Yeah.
60s. They've been there,
Yeah.
and it is a name. Oh, are they
Sure.
pop or are they rock?
Jeez,
Rock.
they must be really old farts now.
Yeah,
They
Yeah, you
started
could
in
say
the
that. You could-
60s,
Well, yeah.
right?
Aren't we all that started in the 60s?
well, because if you started in the 60s, that means you're probably in your 20s then, right?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, even younger maybe.
Woo.
Even younger, maybe.
The skull is kind of.
Is it the Beatles? No, wait, that would only Paul McCartney's
sorry.
still going around.
I'm
no.
sorry. I'm
It's
sorry.
a two- oh wait, no, is it Ringo still alive too?
Yeah, Ringo and.
Yeah, Ringo's alive. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah,
But they're not playing together anymore.
they're not touring together though with Paul. Sir Paul, is he?
Well, maybe it is
Yeah.
Blood Rock Sausage.
Is it
Could
Blood
be.
Rock Sausage? That was a guess last week, and you weren't even here, Ringo.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I threw it in just for you.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
Oh. Come on,
So
where's all the guesses from our? Yeah, we
Yeah.
need guesses from our fans. Where are our fans right now? I don't see any names coming up.
How many members are in a band? Like, is it a big band?
No, there's still only 5, maybe. Just a
Five
basic
from the
kind of band, you know.
60s,
Well, that's a good
from
sized
the
band.
UK.
Yeah.
That's rock and roll,
Hmm.
Damn.
and they're still touring.
Yeah, this year even. Earlier this year, I think.
It's not
How
the
far back
Stones, is it?
does the Who go? The Who or
About
the
the same.
Stones?
I was thinking the Stones.
You were, oh, I think who was first there?
Who? Me.
Oh,
Oh, definitely. Yeah, not you, Ringo. Ringo.
I think it's Heiko.
Holy cow!
what
There
the
you go.
cover is that? Rolling Flashpoint.
Flashpoint.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
It's the
What's
the
on
Steel. It's 1989 to 90 Steel Wheels Urban Jungle World Tour. You've got
That's
Continental
the
Drifts.
Steel Wheels. So that's like '88.
That was
Wow.
it. Well, this is the tour that followed it, right? And the next album as well.
Well, the
We've
tour
got-
that they're going to do next is the Steel Wheelchair Tour, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yes, absolutely.
Is the Hey
We've
I'm
got
an Alien tour?
Ruby Tuesday, Miss You. You can't always get what you want. Start Me Up.
So Sandra
Red
got
Rooster.
it. So-
Paint It Black, Sympathy for the Devil, Brown Sugar, Jumping Jack Flash, Satisfaction, High Wire, Sex Drive. There you go.
I honestly did not think until like it couldn't be anybody else who would still be touring that that you would pick the Rolling Stones. I don't know.
Yeah,
why.
there's only 2 original. I threw that in because,
Well, yeah, because I guess the bass player wasn't original, is he?
I think, the original was Bill Wyman on bass, Charlie Watts on drums, Brian Jones on rhythm, Keith on lead, and Mick on vocals. That was the original Rolling Stones.
Yeah, but isn't the bass player still playing?
No, he was the first one to actually quit the band, I think, out of the original members. He's still alive. He just left the band, I think.
He's left the band.
He left the band.
Our guest tonight will be Richard and Dukeshire. And Richard has been on a few times and has an awesome background and in terms of what he got to do. He actually worked with a lot of global class bands like Metallica, and the list is quite huge. But one of the things, he was in the service of the royal family for a bit, and I guess, well, we'll let Richard talk about all of that, but I'm sure there's some interesting stories. So he's not in the green room quite yet, but there's some fun facts about the Queen, because I actually got up this morning to watch the procession live, and it was quite lengthy, but man, the planning that would have went into that. And what I understand is that this has been, well planned out for a number of years now, but
since she took the throne,
the logistics put something this together was pretty incredible. But the Queen was the only person in the UK allowed to drive without a license. That's an interesting fact, right? So I don't know if you guys have experiences. Oh, actually, George has an experience with the.
Well, the Queen to me, I was never really into the pomp and all that. I just like what she represented as a leader kind of thing. I know it's controversial, some of it, but how she, how it all became that way. But yeah, still got it from the palace. There it is, Buckingham Palace. Stomped out of the palace.
Well, I think the roll went from.
There's the ER.
Yeah. And she's on the back, on a
What's
rainy
ER?
day. It's Elizabeth Regina, isn't it? Elizabeth Queen.
Yeah, no, I didn't know what the R was for.
Yeah, I think it's Regina. I might be wrong. I think it's Regina, which means whatever Queen. And then you can see that Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace, and it says "Dear R. George." No, it doesn't. It says Platinum Blue Jubilee.
It is
1952 to 2022. I send you my grateful thanks for your kind message on the occasion of the 70th anniversary of my accession to the throne. Elizabeth R. 2022. Stay rocking. So there you go. So,
I would just like to point out that The Simpsons called it again.
Yeah, what did The Simpsons say?
In an episode, has 2022 as her year passing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they predict a lot of stuff on that show.
Yeah. Okay, now we know that Matt Groening is really a time traveler.
I don't know what show's been on the Queen.
All, except he missed on a whole bunch of stuff, though, right? So.
Well, hey, maybe somebody changed it on him. Somebody else had it.
Yeah, maybe he's a reptile or something. I don't know.
It could be. You're right.
So it's funny because now things have changed, and they've already done stats on a poll globally and by country, asking if the one is if Canada should part ways with the monarchy, and over 50% say yes.
Mm-hmm.
A quarter say no, and the other quarter is still undecided.
When did we get our sovereignty? Was it seven? It wasn't. It was like 70s, wasn't it? 70s or 60s or something. Wasn't that long ago?
Yeah.
But we still have her on our money, right?
Well, and that's the only how do you say it? The only relationship I ever had with the Queen was I dig in my pocket and she'd be on the back of our change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like
I think she stood for something. Everybody has their opinion on it.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, again, I'm no expert, but I think the Commonwealth and all that was that what she did with that after the Empire, with all the Empire and all that crap sort of got sorted. That country that could come, she put countries on a global stage who could come to like not the G7, but those kind of things.
Yeah.
And the idea was that these smaller countries that wouldn't have a chance on their own could actually come and get subsidies and money and all that kind of stuff. From what I can gather, anyway. I wasn't very good at history.
The Commonwealth countries, right?
Yeah, that's what it became.
She's also pretty supportive of the some of the things going on in terms of like change. I think she adopted to change, I guess. So yeah, it wasn't.
A lot of people say that she was also like the Queen Mason too, right?
That's possible. People would say she was reptilian as well, and those are like, I don't know, the way I look at it, and I know some people that are very into the Queen and the royal family and all of that, good, bad, or indifferent, right? Because they're not all they're certainly not angels, but there's a certain etiquette and proper just really the way they conduct themselves is not a bad, I mean, it's an extreme sort of pompous kind of character that most of them have, but not in a bad way. I mean, look at today. I mean, is sitting around playing video games or whatever the hell you're doing, smoking dope on your couch and hanging around in your skivvies all day. Is that a proper way to act? I don't think so. Like I'm gonna use George as an example. When we brought George on the show, I thought, he asked a bit of balance. No, like, I mean, I
thought you were going to say something about sitting on the couch in your skivvies.
No. I know. I'm sitting in my skivvies right now. I can't get up.
I think,
it's bad enough show me backside every week. Don't tell him that.
Prior to that, we kind of go on the dark side a lot, and we just, which is fine, but I don't know. I think for a while it's probably getting a little out of hand. And George, there's certain things that George will not. He'll distance himself from a bit.
But it's funny because sometimes we'll get into some crazy shit and George will just kick back and become an observer.
Yeah, I'm like the Queen. I have no opinion. I don't have any political views. I have no opinion,
Yeah.
Listen to everyone.
Anyway,
definitely a figurehead that we'll never see again in our lifetime.
Oh no.
Right.
It's over. It's the end of an era, right? It's never going to
happen. So really
again.
What Charles does about it, and they're not like I said, the visual part of it and the etiquette, I've always been a fan of. I know people who are right into the royal family to the point. And Kathy, who's on here, I mean, she's well studied with royal family and all of that. So, and then there are people that say, "Hey, fuck, it's a non-event to them, right?" And but anyway, I think at the end of the day that it's good to have a figurehead. And right now we have nobody on a global stage that represents, humanity. And she would get involved with every country, right?
Well, and even with a lot of countries, like I'm not a big guy that believes in the monarchy stuff, but I saw the movie about her. What they showed today, there was bits and pieces of that. And I think she was an incredible woman at what she did. And she got together weekly meetings with her prime minister, with other people. She kept in touch with everything that was going on, right?
Yeah.
She did do that. But a lot of people say, well, what did the Queen ever fucking do, right? Because you don't hear of that. But she was involved. The only big thing always bothered me, now I kind of go, because I've learned more about the Queen, but I would look at what would happen over there and I go, what a bloody waste of taxpayers' money for these gold carriages and all this shit and palaces for these people to sit on their ass all fucking day.
Okay.
Right? No, that's what I used to know before I learned a lot, right?
Yeah.
Until I watch some documentaries, watch the movie, and I go, oh, okay. They're, you know, but still,
Well, those
even
jewels
what I
didn't come
saw
from
on
taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
what's that?
Nothing.
Oh,
She
okay.
did. Actually, the Queen didn't start paying tax till the early noughties, I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah, there's-
taxpayers' money that they got the jewels
No.
from.
Yeah,
They
but she
stole
didn't
them.
pay tax on
Oh,
anything she
you're
made.
talking about jewels, though, but they pay taxes, and a lot of it goes to royalty in the UK, and that's what they get. They get all this crazy shit that they don't need, but whatever. It's something that's gone on for a long time.
I'm not a
and
fan of
queens
all the extended, law.
No,
all
no,
that I'm
I
not
think
a fan of.
it's
That can be
ridiculous.
looked into, as far as I'm concerned.
You know, it's
But
funny.
People with that
as a
much
lady,
power,
as a figurehead, I think she was something special that we'll never see again. And I think she did a great job. And she was humble. She was kind. She was a good lady.
I believe she was part of they too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
That much power.
No, I mean she was very humble. She had a lot of power, like financial power, a lot of influence, a ton of influence. Like you could say, well, what did she do? She did a ton of things in the background.
If I'm going to take my stocks and put them here, I'm going to play with the stock market, right? Because I have so much money.
But in terms of etiquette, in terms of hierarchy of how business is properly done, and just a lot of, I think it was just a great person to sort of
round it off,
mentor, right? Anyway, that's my opinion.
And also, like because she was apolitical kind of thing, I mean, like any country, you get divided. You'll have your two parties, or three in Britain, a lot. But then, like it doesn't matter how bad it got between the Tories, the Conservatives, and the Labour Party back. They could still be brought together. The country could still be brought together because everyone had the Queen to look up to. It didn't come down to either this side or that side. So she was great for that. She's great for keeping Brits together.
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
Yeah.
I think it was more than the.
Go ahead, Ringo.
She kept the world in check, where she could, right? And the sort of let's say, for instance, what does the Queen do? What has that monarchy done for us? I mean, when she came on board, it was no longer about control. So they chose to back off, right? So anyway, again, more of a figurehead than some kind of controlling ruler.
And what I really like today is that I watched the thing on the funeral and all that stuff, and the history of the Queen from beginning to end. They did a quick run by and stuff, and I think she was pretty special for the fact that she would run her country all day, and then she was a mother at night. Like how we go home from work, she would go home from work, and she would be a mother. She had the kids. It was all about family. And she still, it's funny, they said every single day there would be a red box would show up for her with all the important papers from that day to go through. And every morning they would pick that box up and everything was gone through, checked, marked, whatever, signed, whatever. So, that's dedication, man. That's
well, and
right.
You know what? We have the perfect example. Look at George over there, right? How proud was he to keep that, that letter back from the palace? And I mean, and look at, some of the most famous people in the world, like Sir Paul McCartney, and like they've touched a lot of people in terms of like world leaders in their own right, whether you're a musician or whatever. And hey, here's our endorsement, right? So
I gotta look and see, George, if I still have my piece of paper, but I got the Duke of Edinburgh Award.
Really?
When I was in the Boy Scouts. Yeah, it was very cool.
Nice one. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I always thought it'd be cool to get something from the palace, when I got into my 20s, because and I remember thinking in 1981, I remember thinking I'm going to write to the palace, so I get a letter back with the coat of arms on, and I was going to offer my DJ services to Charles and Diana for the wedding reception.
Oh,
Right on.
I never actually did
That's
it, but I
right.
know some people that did and got replies. Yeah.
So
Hey, Richard,
thanks
look
for
up.
joining us.
You're here.
Yes,
Hi,
yes.
Richard.
Hey, gentlemen. How's everyone doing today?
All right.
Good.
Yeah, I was kind of excited that you offered to come on, and you always have really super stories, that are absolutely 100% true. Yeah, part of that was, I guess, your service with the royal family or contacts with them. So, but yeah, we wanted to get you on, and it's kind of an interesting day. That ceremony this morning started at probably 5 to 6 a.m.
I was on at 5. I was
Yeah.
on at 5. Yeah.
So I think we were up about 6:30 or something.
I didn't watch it. I just remember waking up, putting the TV on for a bit, and then I went back to sleep. But it already started at like 5.
End of an era for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
They ran it over and over. We actually watched it this afternoon.
Yeah.
So
just before we get into that, Richard, and you can share some things with us, I just wanted to go back to Sandra's comment. She said, "What an emotionally heartfelt goodbye today." She's absolutely right. In fact, you saw the king kind of, Prince or King Charles now kind of well up a bit at the end. But the 2 points that really got me was when she passed her horse, and so they were passing, and immediately, because this is live, right? The horse, without a prompt, lifts one of his front legs, and he bows his head. And I'm like, so somehow it sensed that she was in that, car.
That horse is trained. It was told it knew when.
Maybe Derek. Maybe
yeah,
not.
I heard too that they put horse treats in there, so he knew.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, but they can obviously sense a lot of things, and I've heard.
Sure.
Of course they can.
Yes.
Of course.
But the corgis, the dogs, they reacted as well. So, and that's not uncommon, right? I mean, seeing things where a soldier has been killed and his dog is just mourning the death and everything. But anyway, so Richard, we're gonna put you in a little feature here.
Nice shirt, Richard.
Oh wow, Richard, you've changed. There you go.
Put me in the big screen. Just leave it as a group thing, please.
Get a young-looking guy on.
Oh, I know.
Looking guy on.
Now, come on, Richard didn't comb his hair today. Come on, give him a break.
I just did the wash and go, and that was it.
Yeah, you've got the bed hair there, Richard.
Yeah, exactly. You have to forgive me. I didn't properly prepare, right?
Yeah. So, Richard, you're wearing something from the UK, I can see as well, right?
Look at that.
My standby shirt was the MCM, of course, but I went with AC/DC.
It's in the wash.
What do you mean standby? That should
it's
be
in the wash. It's in the dry. It's in the dry cleaners, Ringo.
Well, Ringo. I had to see what you're going to say.
Yeah.
It's funny because I wore a shirt last week that I proudly bought, and then I got it out of the laundry, and I had it on today, and I thought, shit, I can't wear a shirt 2 weeks in a row. They'll think I haven't washed it, right?
I'm gonna. My shirt is actually. 1 sec here. I'm gonna just show you.
What is that, Overlander?
So yeah, this is Overland North, the rally. So I actually went out to that, and it's what Overland is all about is people taking, let's say, a Jeep, putting a tent on the roof and doing a bunch of outdoor stuff in it. But part of it is doing like mud runs and all of that. So of course I had my big military vehicle. I
saw a picture with your vehicle and trailer and everything out there. It looked really awesome, buddy.
Yeah, I want to see that in person. I want to see how you get that geared up inside.
Oh yeah, for sure. And if we can arrange it, Richard, maybe we'll go on a little bit of a tour that we were talking about, the winter camping thing. But
absolutely, I would be all over that.
Yeah,
I got a hot tent with a stove ready to go.
Oh,
nice.
We'll just bring the military vehicle.
I've never really camped, let alone fucking winter camping.
Oh yeah,
winter camping's pretty cool, man. I've done it too. Set up a tent in the snow.
Yeah, they have it now. Like they said, with not everyone knows what hot tenting is. Like not everyone knows what overlanding is. But with the hot tenting, they have basically it's a tent, but it's a little thicker,
Yeah.
and they have stovepipe jacks, and they have wood stoves made specifically for these tents.
Yeah.
So even though you're in this tent, you got a wood stove going there, right? So you cook your food,
Yeah.
you got your light, you got your heat. Like it's
Nah, you know how
nice
we did it?
But it's just like, what do you do? You just fucking. I don't want to sit there and just stare at Ringo for 3 days, right? Hey, let's go outside and get cold.
Well,
and come back
you don't sit. You do shit outside. You have fun, right?
Yeah.
But we did that too, and we didn't have fancy tents like that. So what we would do is in the afternoon we go down to the lake, get the axes, chip a hole in the ice. The ice was pretty thick too, so you're working at trying to get a hole big enough to get a rock. A rock that's probably 20, 25 pounds. That's what you want. You want to get it out of the water. And then when you start your campfire, you place your rock beside the campfire. And then at night, when you're going to go to bed, you take your towel and you get your rock and push it onto the towel and you roll it up. And you take this rock and you put it in the bottom of your sleeping bag and you put your feet on it.
Yep.
And that rock will keep you warm all night.
So
I've done it. I never thought it would work, but you keep your extremities warm, like your feet, and they're on this warm rock. It'll maintain heat for 6-7 hours. A rock that size.
We used to just put 2 bricks on our wood stove in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Roll up in a tea towel and put it in our beds at night.
See, there you go. Same idea.
Yeah,
exact same idea.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And if the rock was out of the lake and it was waterlogged, it would retain its heat much longer.
Yeah. I always just followed my grandmother's trick there. She always just used a hot water bottle.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
I mean, why like a 25-pound stone when you can just fill up a hot water bottle?
Yeah. I mean,
because the stone will keep you warm all night. The hot water bottle won't.
Yeah,
that's good enough to get you to sleep.
Yeah, hot water bottle gets cold, then you freeze.
Yeah, and then you wake up and now what?
You got to piss on yourself to stay warm.
Oh, and then when that warms up, you're all stuck to your sleeping bag. Not cool. Not cool.
Hey, want to go camping, Richard?
That was you.
we know 2 people we're not taking with us.
Hey, what was that old joke? Hey, Heiko, if you went camping and woke up with a condom in your ass, would you tell anybody?
Ooh. I just make it disappear.
You want to go camping?
I'd find
all right, let's go.
Yeah. So anyway,
I was going to say. So
went from the Queen to this.
We went right to the toilet again.
Yeah.
Let's even get Richard to clean it up. Do you have Richard? Do you have any stories that would go back to the royal family? Because you did work for them for a little while, right?
Well, actually, I was looking for an envelope. There is something that happened with the Duchess of York and the 2 princesses, and as a result, the royal family sent me a letter of thanks, and they flew airmail. So I have a very unique, because I saw George's post with the British stamps.
Yeah.
And there's no postage on this. It's just stamped royal mail. It was flown from England, and I was trying to find it so I could show you, because it's not something you're going to see every day, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And that had the seal on it and all that stuff too. But I'll be darned if I could find it when now that I want to find it somewhere safe.
Of course, yeah.
It's even safe for me right now. You put something somewhere safe, and it's safe, all right.
Yeah.
But my first experience with any of the royal family was the Duchess of York, and that was in Toronto. I'm trying to remember the name of the store, but the Duchess came out with a china pattern for plates and bowls and
Right.
And so myself and another guy that I work with regularly, we got to work with her, and they launched just, like I said, I can't remember the name of the store. It's just west. It's like a block west of Yonge and Bloor.
Okay.
But anyways, so worked with the Duchess of York, and they like I say she released her own china powder, and she was absolutely fantastic. We hit it off, and then whenever she came back, I got to work with her a number of times, and because of that, I got to meet the princesses as well. So that was really neat. I
I
absolutely
guess
enjoyed
that
it.
would be. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the last time I worked with the Duchess of York was at the Toronto International Film Festival,
Right.
and then there was a TIFF closing party,
Okay.
Right?
and so I got invited as a guest, which was great. And inside this invite only, TIFF closing party was directors and producers and the who's who.
Yep.
The Duchess of York had her own VIP area within this VIP party, and she graciously invited my wife to be in the VIP with her as her personal guest. She
Yeah.
Wow.
and got me to get her and walked her in like. So
That's very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
So that was also again a unique experience, not something you would have
Absolutely.
expected growing up in a small town, Nova Scotia, 1,500 people.
Right, right.
So were you like, what were you, how did you get involved with that? Was that part of when you were in security, that
Yeah.
sort of thing,
Yeah.
security detail?
So the
So
people
is her name Sarah?
Well,
Look
I
at
would
that.
say there's a you get a ring.
Yeah, I was.
a
Oh
ring
no,
light
I was
flare.
looking at. I found some of her her tea wares.
Oh,
China
okay.
patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't remember the China pattern if I saw it. I just remember it was like a really big day, and they had RCMP there
2001?
with the hats on, and
Is that around 2001?
oh, could be. It was early 2000s for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I just for the life of me can't remember the store. It was at, like I say, it was like a block west of Yonge and Bloor.
Sarah Ferguson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was really nice right off the bat.
Yeah,
You know, the guy I was working with, we were nervous because it was both of our first experience with any association with royalty, whatever. And of course, when we're dealing with that level of I don't know, status
Well,
status notoriety.
Yeah, steps
you wanna-
up
you
the
wanna make
security
sure-
level, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you want to make sure that. Yeah, she was really nice. Absolutely loved her.
Nice.
So it sounds like this was kind of a regular event when they would come in. They'd link up with you, and I guess they put a lot of trust in you, especially to get to the inner core of the royals.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, like when you get people at a certain level they're not just celebrities; they're international. I mean, the Duchess of York was very specifically linked to the royal family, and the royal family. So I mean, like you imagine an incident in Canada involving the royal family. There's no way to recover from that. So we had to make sure everything was spot on. Like there was no room for error or anything. But luckily, I listened to her talking, and I just had a feeling she had a sense of humor on her, and I just started joking with her, talking with her like I do with most people, but very respectfully, of course.
Yes.
And she picked up on it, and she just went with it, and we hit it off. And she was always, every time, was just great to work with, and made it a lot easier on the nerves as well, right?
Well, I was just gonna say she probably felt very comfortable having you around.
I would hope so. Like
right?
When I saw her at the Toronto Film Festival, she ran. She had some of the palace guard with her, and she just broke from the guard, ran across the room, gave me a big hug, and how are you? It's great to see you. And, it was really nice to know that. I mean, with all the people she must have met around the world, to have the rapport where she's just gonna come across the room and give me a hug. It was nice to know that.
Awesome.
I made that that impression.
Yeah.
That's wicked.
Yeah, because when she walks into a room and Derek's there, she gets their security and goes, "That's the guy."
Yeah, down the ground.
Yeah, I mean, Richard, when I think about you lately, and it's all clean. But
You sure you think about him and it's clean?
no,
Just lately. Just lately.
Maybe we're not going to camping.
Oh,
I'm
no.
a big fan of Gerard
Mosquito.
Butler, and he's done those things where he's been in the service of the president, and I think it was like London's Falling.
Oh yeah, London Fallen.
Yeah.
And the other one with the all of the drones going after Morgan Freeman,
Yeah.
which
Olympus. Was that Olympus is falling?
Yeah, Olympus. Yep.
That's what it was, George. Yeah,
Yeah.
Olympus.
But
and
I
London
think
were the
The
two.
second one, yeah.
like the responsibility he's charged with in those taking care of the president. I think about some of the things you've told us and stuff like that, and to work with the royal family, it's no different, right?
What the hell?
I really want to know who are you?
Sorry, that's someone calling me that.
Oh, that's your phone.
Facebook's going to jail us.
Well, that's kind of funny, actually, because I didn't think you'd have the Who for your ringtone.
I don't know. It wasn't my idea. I didn't think of it. I didn't think of it, but when someone suggested it, I thought, yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So anyway, Richard,
you
definitely got a lot to be proud of. I think again, the end of an era, but you were part of history, right? You got to
shake hands with history,
to meet these people and be in that circle and somewhat accepted, right? If
well, even just working with the Duchess of York, like all of my father's side. I don't know where your family's from, George, but all my father's side were all North Londoners.
Oh no, I'm from up north. I'm a northerner.
Okay.
North of the Watford Gap. Yeah, that's me.
So even just meeting the Duchess of York, my grandmother was very much into the royal family, and she knew, the whole history of the royal family and every member, et cetera, et cetera. So even finding out that I was with her, my grandmother was just beside herself, and she's like, do the family proud, and
yep,
and it was, just say that, again, small town boy standing there beside the Duchess of York. It's nothing you ever would imagine growing up. Like there's just no way to say to yourself, someday I'm going to be, I'm going to be beside members of the royal family. There's just no way to prepare for that.
So before you could meet these people, what kind of vetting did you have to go through to get that particular, gig? I
had already done a bunch of different things with big celebrities, like with the Rolling Stones and everything.
Okay.
And so they knew in advance who was going to be around and who wasn't. And even to do the things within the company that I worked for, like when I first started, I volunteered for the lowest positions. I wanted to learn everything from the bottom up. I did a show, and there was a gentleman by the name of Mike Elder, and he's no longer with us, but he used to run all the biggest shows in Canada. He was just a giant in the music industry in Canada for promotion. And he said, the best thing you can ever do for yourself is learn everything. I said, well, how the hell do you learn everything? I said, well, that's easy for you to say. You're running the biggest shows in the world. All the biggest names know who you are by first name. You have them on speed dial on your cell phone, so it's easy for you to say. And he's like, you want to know a secret? And I was like, sure. He said, well, I started out folding chairs at the Shell, the band Shell in Toronto.
Oh wow!
And I learned how to stack the chairs and put the chairs out. And then I asked, well, how do I do something else? And then I learned that. And he goes, and I worked my way all the way to the top. He goes, no one just handed it to me. I earned it. I worked my way up. I started at the bottom. Yep. So I deliberately asked for all the bottom level jobs. I'll watch a door for, some random gate, way in the middle of nowhere. I want to learn from the bottom up, just like Mike did, and see how far I can go. And so I earned my way up the ladder and watched and learned and volunteered. And so as I got with more and more celebrities, the higher and higher levels, the trust was there. They knew what I was capable of and not capable of. And then opportunity came. They said, we need people for the Duchess of York. And my boss was like, I got you two guys. So I got a phone call, and he's like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? That type of thing. And I was like, well, I guess I'm working.
That's it. Done. Nice.
Yeah, and of course, once you work with someone at a certain level, then there's no hesitation to have you working with other people at that same level, and then you go a little higher, a little higher, a little higher. So it was like Duchess of York, and then I think it was the Dalai Lama, and then I got vetted for the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, man.
As you can imagine, same thing. Everyone knows who the Dalai Lama is,
Now
that's another international personality. You don't want to be the person that messes up anything with the Dalai Lama and causes an international incident, right?
Right.
So again, the people that are within certain areas, certain proximities, are handpicked because of their past experience and working your way up. And
Did you get nervous before meeting people of that kind of caliber, like the Dalai Lama? Or do you think it's just another job, and I know exactly what I'm doing, and I've been briefed, so what to say, not to say, blah blah blah.
There was a nervousness, not because it was the Dalai Lama. It was oh my goodness, there's a Dalai Lama. Or, oh my goodness, it's the Duchess of York. It was what do I say to them? If there's an opportunity to have a conversation, have that one-on-one moment, what am I going to say?
What profound thing?
How's the weather in Tibet? What do I? Conversation.
Dalai Lama. Yeah. What could you say?
Do you
hey man, who cuts your hair?
Like I say, seriously, what conversation do you breach with certain people?
What would you say to the Dalai Lama though?
I've got this great diet. You should try it. It'll help you mentally. Yeah,
Oh, man.
No, but you're right, Richard.
And that's how it was with a lot of people. You meet. I'm trying to think of some specific names, but you're going to spend time with specific people, and you're like, okay, what can I find out about them so that we have something that we can talk about, so there's no dead uncomfortable air, no uncomfortable silence.
Right. Yeah.
So if you find yourself in a spot, because it happens sometimes, where
we have it happen on the show all the time.
So instead of having these uncomfortable silences, you want to try and find a subject that you can both relate to in some manner, so that you can bring it up. But again, it's what can I talk about with this person? What can I talk about with that person? And that was the biggest stress for me, was
dog.
Am I going to get a chance to talk to them? And if I am, what am I going to say?
So who tends to speak first? Whoever
It's always different. You never know. There's people that don't say anything. They're just quiet. I've had people. I won't give any names, but I've had people that I work with, and you got to walk them from a dressing room to a meet and greet or whatever, and you just knock on the door. They open the door, and you're like, "This way, please," and that's the only thing that you say to them. And then you go, slide the chair back for them so they can sit down at the table to start signing autographs for people, whatever. And there's just no conversation at all. They don't want it. They just.
Well, you know what?
You work for me. You work for me. Do your job, and that's it.
Yeah. It's natural though to feel intimidated by that, because in the corporate world, that's you take your best salespeople that will run into the same problem. They're going to meet with let's say a president of a company or somebody at an entirely different level. Like when you're president in the company, you're more visionary, just like the Queen would be, that sort of thing, and little things that might interest you are not going to trip their trigger, right? So I've always been told, stick to the headlines and not the news, and just keep it short. But you always want to prepare for what's called an elevator speech. That comes when getting with a person like that in an elevator, and you could look at the floor or look at the ceiling. But if you got an opportunity to talk, it's what do you say? So you want to learn facts and
if you don't know what to say, you just fart.
You could do that too. But the key,
come on, that's what you do in an elevator.
Well, you can also sometimes with Charles and Camilla, for example. I was with them at City TV.
Oh wait, did you say Charles and Camilla?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yep.
And they were in Canada doing, it was I believe it was a children's charity. I just can't remember what the specific event was. And so again,
Oh,
you're with these two people. It's a royal family. What am I going to say? They're standing there. That awkward silence starts, and it was there was the at the Chum building. They had these roll up glass wall, like a garage
Yep.
door, but all glass.
Mhm.
And there's a big crowd outside type thing, and I was like, what a beautiful day for the event, what an amazing turnout. And then they replied from that, and then we just went from there. And Charles was like, oh, I forget what it was, but he's like, oh, did you notice such and such? I was like, yeah. And then and then and it just kind of went from there. So if you have that awkward silence, sometimes there's the opportunity, kind of start that conversation based around why they're there in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And a good follow up is always to say, well, can you tell me a little bit more about that, right? Get them talking. But that's often it's tough, especially if you've got somebody with whether it be a driver personality or a celebrity who, they're kind of guarded as well. They're possibly just as nervous as you are, right? But it's to get them talking, ask open-ended rather than closed-ended, right? But yeah, you know what, Richard? I mean, just your opportunities to meet different people, I mean, are, from what I've heard, the stories I've heard, it's a pretty deep well of experiences that you had, and that's super.
I was lucky. There's no way around it. I met the right people at the right time. I did the right thing at the right time, and I got the opportunities that I got. And I could have, at the beginning of things, done one thing wrong, and it would have killed every other opportunity from
Sure.
absolutely. Sure. 100%. You say one wrong thing to the wrong person. Like, say if I would have tried to strike up a conversation and joke around with the Duchess of York, and she didn't want to joke around at all, and she was offended or angry, and then she's like, I don't like this guy, I don't want to see him again. My boss is like, you're out of here. And then that would have been the end of it, right?
Yep.
So it's always a what's the term?
You got to have an etiquette protocol.
It's hit and miss. You got to read people, try and read the body language, try and read the tone of voice and everything. And not always easy. But the one thing I did find over the years was that most of the people, if you talk to them just like everybody else, I got the best responses from that. They like to be
respected. You're treated like a normal person. Well, so in your experiences, did you ever run into any negative, situations where if you're in charge or helping them through an event, have you ever run into any security issues that you had to respond to or react to?
Yeah, not a lot of stuff I can really get into, but yeah, I mean there's
situations, not instances.
Yeah, there are situations and instances. I mean, there was I was with one very, very high profile figure, and bomb threats called in, and that was a really awkward situation because we had to get this one our focus, this person was such high profile, our focus was this one person. And even though there was other celebrities, other known people there, we weren't allowed to let them know that this came in because the priority above all else, like you said, this was an international figure, was that person needs to get out. If there's a panic, then they may impede that process.
Yeah.
And there can't be. So get this person out, all costs. And then if people find out after, no problem. And you get the word and you say, listen,
wow, that's crazy.
We need to get you out of here as quickly as possible. You need to leave immediately. And you also need to have that rapport with the people that you work with, even if they're, I don't want to talk with you, whatever,
we're going.
They need to understand right away that they need to listen to you, and that's it.
Yeah.
You have me here for a purpose. You listen to me, and that's it. There's no when it comes down to business, like, yes, I'm here for you, but you're going to listen, and that's that.
Yeah.
Well, it keeps you safe as well, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah, when the bomb threat came in, I was very happy to be out of there. I wasn't arguing
No doubt.
at all.
No.
No negotiating.
Like, woohoo.
You want me to open the door?
Yeah, exactly.
So, Richard, do you have a drink in front of you or anything that we can get George to spin our glass?
Oh, here. Before you spin the tune there, George, I want you guys to meet one of my friends. Have you seen my shirt? You see that?
Can't read it. What does it say?
Small.
Oh, because I'm small.
Well, here. Say? There you go.
Here. There.
43.
43.
Okay.
Hey, what's that say right there? Huh? 40 Creek.
He's got the T-shirt as well.
I got it. My friend's here. My friend's going to help me out right now.
Oh,
there. Here we go. Okay, I'm ready. Everybody got a drink? Oh, thank you. That was really good.
I'm just gonna have to top up my glass. I'll be right back.
Oh no!
I just made a big drink. I don't know if you really noticed how big this glass is.
It looked pretty big, that one.
Yeah, that
literally like the size. Like I knew this was gonna be we're gonna be here a while. Like, I didn't want to try and get up and go make a drink. So I was like, I just came prepared.
And like I showed the boys before the show, this whole little table right beside me is loaded. It's good to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I was up north. I did about 2,000 kilometers with my military truck up north in Ontario. So I went up through Highway 11 through Temiskaming and all of that. Went up to Matheson, down 144 through Timmins, all of that. But
nice.
Yeah. So then I stopped in to see some friends, and my buddy Len reintroduced me to a really old friend called Jimmy Beam, and it was I haven't
good times
in 30 years because I used to do it when we go out on these tours, and it just so smooth. But what my buddy
you and Jimmy reconnected?
Yeah, we definitely reconnected. So my buddy he buys these 26 ounces, and they're kind of a rectangle shape. He keeps them in his deep freeze, all lined up, and he freezes his. He's got these whiskey glasses and stuff, and he freezes those as well. So everything comes out in puts a towel down, puts the frosty glass with ice all over it, and pours a cryo drink, and it's amazing. So yeah, we polished off a bottle of that pretty quick and got into a second one. But I was kind of mixed emotion on that because I capped that bottle 30 years ago, and it was just getting me into trouble. So, but
it was good this time.
Once every 30 years isn't going to hurt anything. Like
no,
and we were out touring and with the band and doing some crazy stuff back then. So it just got a little too comfortable. So yeah, I just kind of watched it for a while. So
that's okay.
I think when it's cold like that, it's actually smoother, right? So
it's a little more syrupy. Yeah, I do.
And I was going to say that if you keep it in the deep freezer and you actually pour it and you look, it looks a little thicker, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It definitely changes the drink. No, like I said, I do that with rum. I've been doing that for years.
Totally. Yeah. Like my cousin is huge into tequila, but he doesn't buy any tequila that's under $60. He buys high quality tequilas, and even there, he'll bring a bottle from the bar, and he'll bring the same bottle out of the freezer, and you just had two totally different drinks.
Oh yeah,
right, right.
I keep my tequila usually. I haven't drank a lot of it lately, but it's best served right out of the freezer. So.
I'm on a mission to get. I'm not a tequila guy. Gord got me back into it, drinking good tequilas, which is none of the crap I used to drink. It's actually really good. But I want to go to the southern states and get a bottle. It's called Number One.
Number one.
Number One, like Juan, like Juan,
Juan.
the name, like
Yeah.
the name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be really good. So that's my mission. I got to get one. You can only get it in the southern states, and if you try and ship it up here, it actually costs more to ship it up than the bottle costs.
Than the bottle costs,
It's ridiculous. Right?
Well, I had
Do you know Ron White, the comedian?
oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got together with a Mexican guy, and they opened up a tequila distillery in Mexico.
Is that when he
And
quit
that's-
drinking?
Really?
Well, no, he didn't quit drinking. He actually went from scotch to tequila. Like he always has a drink on stage.
Yeah.
Now he drinks his own tequila. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that
Yeah,
drink
so-
Dan Aykroyd's into that he's partnered
He's
with?
the skull. Crystal skull.
That's
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, vodka.
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 Oh, and that's funny too. Like, any of you guys drink vodka by any chance?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not since my
Vodka right
21st birthday. No.
So it's funny. I met a Russian guy years ago. We found his boat, and I actually just saw him this past weekend. I went looking for him, and I found him. But he thanked us for finding his boat that got stolen, and he brought this bottle out of the freezer, and it wasn't even open. It was straight from Russia. And I tell you, guys, seriously, I have never had anything that tasted remotely as good as that.
Wow.
It didn't taste like vodka. It was like pouring gold in your mouth. It was unbelievable. And I'm not even a vodka guy, right? So
Vodka's smooth, right?
Vodka.
Well,
Comparatively.
you know what? It depends what you drink. So I asked him, I said, can you get this here? He said, no. I said, well, what is the closest thing I can get to that here in Canada?
Yeah.
And he said, Russian Standard Vodka. That's the name brand of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he says they have their standard one, they have their platinum, and they have their gold. If you get the higher up ones, they're very, very close to this kind of quality.
Yeah.
Well, since all this shit happened with the Ukraine, they stopped selling Russian vodka at the LCBO. So I can't get my vodka anymore, right?
Right.
So I was
That's
just talking. Yeah, I was just talking to him, and his son is a vodka connoisseur, and there
What a
is.
reason to be a Putin sympathizer.
I know. There's a Russian company that made vodka, and they sold their business to another country. So it's still Russian vodka, but they still sell it here because it comes from another country now.
another country.
Yeah. So I'm going to go and get myself a bottle of that this week. I'm going to go look for it.
Yeah, I don't know if Kathy's still on. But there's these martinis, vodka martinis, and there's a fruit. Sandra's saying instead of lemon and salt and tequila, try it with a slice of orange and sprinkled with cinnamon. That's
that'd do
amazing.
for the
I'm gonna have
taste.
to try that. But there's another way to down tequila. I would go to the grocery store, and I had a deal with them that they'd let me know when they got their fresh batch of oysters in. So I'd buy a case of oysters, and I'd shuck the oysters open. There'd still be a little bit of salt water. You drip that off, and you replace it with tequila and sriracha sauce, and then you down that sucker. And by the time you get through a box of oysters, 30 or 40,
Oh, God.
you
We used to
feel-
drink tequila with cherry whiskey. And it was
Ooh,
called a code 99, which is a heart attack,
Yeah, I guess.
right?
Oh,
And
yeah, Kathy's saying
that used to be a great shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kathy's saying lychee. So yeah, they're lychee martinis, and you can buy
Okay.
them at any grocery store. It looks like a kind of like a really over-ripened grape.
Yeah.
And it,
Oh,
you
yeah.
buy them in a
I've seen.
can,
Yep.
but you dip a little. I don't know. She could probably say how that she makes them, but you take a little bit of the lychee juice and the fruit and put it in a martini, and it's just what it does is it kind of it flattens the makes the vodka a little bit more smooth, and the drinks are great. I mean,
You could buy lychee juice if you look
Yeah.
in some grocery stores. Yeah.
but you want the fruit in it instead of throwing olives in it. You throw, the lychee fruit, which kind of look like over-ripened grapes. But
Yeah, they're a little bit nasty. They're kind of clear.
Do you mean kind of like a raisin?
No, it kind of looks like no, that's not that ripe. But
Have you opened them up? If you bust the peel,
yeah,
they're kind of clear inside and slimy. And slimy. They're kind of nasty.
but oysters with tequila and
they're kind of nasty
Like
too.
we really sold that one.
Not into that. No.
I'm just thinking right now I should go to a 24-hour grocery store and grab oysters.
Yeah.
But
just try tequila and cherry whiskey. You're gonna like that.
I'm just wondering what the orange and cinnamon would taste like with tequila.
I think that would. Yeah, I think that would be really good too.
Well, the lychee looks kind of neat.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. It's very different.
It looks like a baby bell, kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a clear cherry, but it's kind of slimy.
Oh yeah, give it a shot. I mean, you can't.
Yeah. It's not bad. I've had it. See, there you go.
Almost looks like a pearl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wants a pearl necklace.
It's about right. Looks good. Sandra says it's delicious.
I'm going to try it now. I'm curious. I'm actually going to try it just to see. It's going to be less. It's going to be less harsh than
lime and salt, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So
well,
hey,
we need to have a drinking contest, eh? Everybody bring their best drink to the table.
Yeah, well, I got some cool shit. Like, my wife was just in Italy for 3 weeks, in Sicily, and she brought me back some cool stuff here. So I'm gonna have to try these things out.
Your wife was away for 3 weeks, and you never called us?
Absolutely.
Fuck. Nice guy.
That's it.
I thought you liked us.
I know.
we could have had a party at Heiko's. Like, what?
Yeah, like
that's what I was thinking. I was gonna have a big corn roast, a big bash here, and
could have frolicked through the sunflowers.
Yeah.
So I played hooky on last Monday night. So what had ended up happening was I'm rehearsing with a band and it's covers. They're quite. It's a lot of fun, and it's with guys that got a bit of a history with. So Lou from MCM is playing bass, and then
right on.
Ian Meredith, he played with a few bands out in the area, but and him and Lou played together for a while in a Skinner.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But so it what had happened was we were supposed to rehearse the week prior. So that got shifted. The only open date was Monday. So I said, well, okay, we can do it the one time because it was at my place. And I thought, you know what, get it done so that we can start getting out into clubs and, you know. But
hey, speaking of your band members, whatever happened to Phil? Like, you guys still doing shit together? I still want to get together with Phil and drink one of these. 40 Creek.
Well, Phil and I went to see
sure,
him.
you have Phil over, but not us. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't think you liked 40 Creek.
I will definitely drink 40. God rest his soul. I would have shots of 40 Creek with my father-in-law.
Oh.
Yeah? Nice. All right, you're in. I'll let you know.
No, Phil's doing really well, actually. So we're gonna pull MCM back together for, it's the fall now, basically, but probably October, November, we'll start working on that. I have to go to Vancouver at the end of the month for a few days and start a project out there. So I'm not sure how that's gonna gobble me up for November, but the plan is to get something happening with them again in November. So. But cool. Excited about it. It'd be good to get out and
I am too. Like, I remember seeing you guys play live, and you guys were an awesome band, and I'd love to see you again.
Yeah, it's we had a good following. We still get, there's we'll get the dust off it and get back to it.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was going to say, it's getting close to quitting time. So the is there anybody out there who still with us that has any experiences with the royal family or queen that they want to share? So
I don't have much except the Queen's been in my pocket. That's about it.
Well, that's an interesting fact because we were talking
Did
about
lots
that
of coke with
before, before we all started, and yeah, it is. That's a staple as well, right? I mean, the Queen's image has been on our
She's always been here.
trademark, of course, right?
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, and
what they're gonna do with the money?
What's that?
Anyone else wondering what they're going to do with their money? Like they're already They're already in talks. The Canadian Mint already said that it's up to the federal government, being Trudeau, as to what's printed on the bills, and it's already being discussed. So I'm wondering.
Fuck.
I'm wondering
Really?
this.
It's up to Trudeau. That guy can't organize a fucking lemonade stand.
Well,
why let him make any decisions?
It'll be his face on the dollar next.
Oh yeah, doing one of these.
It'll probably be him surfing.
Yeah.
Didn't he get into a spot of trouble with last night at his hotel because he had a few drinks?
Yeah,
he was singing at the bar.
Yeah,
was he
singing.
picking up another
Wow.
14-year-old or
He
something?
was,
Yeah,
he's singing.
he was over there for the funeral, and
Yeah.
apparently, by the accounts by the media accounts, he kind of got a little tipsy, made a bit of an ass of himself.
Singing Bohemian Rhapsody by
he doesn't
Queen.
need to get tipsy
That's
for
what he's
that.
singing.
But this is the point of the Queen. This is the etiquette that our Prime Minister doesn't have, right?
That's right. He has no class.
It's
You can't compare the two. That's apples and oranges.
It is apples and oranges, but at least we've got somebody that's a hierarchy in the monarchy.
But he's a representative of a country.
Yeah, but
And he's a fucking goof, right?
Absolutely, I agree. 100%.
Have some bloody class.
Yeah, like
stand up for your people.
Karaoke any day of the week, I'd be like right there with him. But
Yep.
you don't go to you don't go to something like that representing the entire country and go out and party your ass off the night before.
No.
That's bullshit. It's like, come on, you can't suck it up for a day or two. At least get through the ceremony.
That's what I was talking about earlier, right? Like, you're at an event for a certain level. The Queen, royal family, beyond celebrity status, but there's this international, and you have to maintain a certain decorum. You have to know what to do, what not to do. And Trudeau just
100%.
He doesn't
give a fuck. He's a spoiled.
It's a maturity thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's obviously that just doesn't go off in however that guy thinks, but
just suck it up. You got suck it up for one night, right? You're there to represent the country. It's an international event. Suck it up, Buttercup. But he can't because he's a piece of crap.
At an event, having a scotch with somebody talking about the Queen and stuff. I mean, that's what you're getting. That's what Canada is supporting. Paying your tab to go out there and represent. Not go nuts at a karaoke.
And if you see the other world leaders that were there for that event, they look proper and distinguished and everything. And then you have you have our representative,
hey, was he?
And you know what?
If I had hair, I'd pull it out. Like he just
allegedly, and I heard this on a radio station yesterday. But there was some discussion, and I don't know if it's factual or not, but there was this question about whether there'd be an opportunity to discuss business on this trip. And it's like, come on, really?
Of course there is.
It's inappropriate, right? It's not.
It is. These guys, they can go anywhere on the planet anytime they want. This is not about business. This is about the passing of a queen of a country. Pay your respects, right? Suck it up, and that's it. It's over.
And I feel
I'm going to go over there as a representative of our country to pay respects to the end of an era, to the longest reigning monarch, and this is how I represent Canada. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we got what we got. I see, and I don't see her as the queen of a country. I seen her as she's a global icon, and And again, back to the whole thing about etiquette and decorum and everything else that, I always thought that at least if you follow the Queen and the royal family, not that they're perfect, obviously, but there's a decorum and etiquette that, it's almost like indirectly, the more you know about them and watch what they do, it rubs off on you. It's almost like a finishing school, right? To be a proper, lady or gentleman or just some of the values. And, it's not to get into religion or anything, but my take on that is no matter what religious, what religion you're in or not, as long as you've got a value, a basis for values, then good. I don't judge. I don't, but I always saw them as, they like with all of the optics, the we'll call them costumes, right? Like those poor guys wearing the hats today, the guard and stuff like that. I felt so bad. And these guys had to walk like almost 5 miles or something like that through the whole.
Yeah.
But I bet for a second, having like just on my small end of things that I've done, I would bet that not for a second did they mind the whole time.
No, God no.
They're probably proud to be there, and it was something that you gladly just, if it was really hot, then they were uncomfortable. They would, they'd be sucking it up, and it wouldn't matter for a second.
They would suck it up because I'm here for the passing of the Queen and everything else that's with it, right?
You can't suck it up and stay off a karaoke mic for one evening.
Well, that's the whole thing. We're saying that.
George, are we going to get in trouble here?
No.
Okay.
Which finger's on your George? Hang on, George. Which finger's on your cheek? Was that your middle finger?
He had two.
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No, but see, that's the thing. You know what? It's really sad to see what's happened out there, but we have a classless piece of crap governing our country, and it shows because we have been ousted out of a couple of global meetings because we're not liked anymore because nobody likes Trudeau. They think he's an idiot. They think he's a buffoon, and
I don't think they know.
I mean,
they know. Well, okay.
For the U.S., when Obama was president, that guy he was distinguished. He had class. He was a gentleman.
Yes.
in any official setting, and then
first president without a scandal.
And then you show him in comparison to Trudeau. No wonder people aren't taking us seriously. Like,
right.
They think it's a joke. The Boy Scouts are running the country again. It's like, holy shit.
I'm sorry for bringing that up, but I've just found it tickled me a bit. So I shouldn't laugh, but I just thought that hilarious.
No, you can laugh, George, because it's upsetting to a lot of people that we have this buffoon running the country.
Yeah, I know it is.
Right? We are a great country. We always have been. Yes, and what's happened since he's been in power, he's slowly putting us down in the toilet and making a joke out of this country. It's so fucking sad.
Nothing lasts forever.
Outside of the royal family, outside of this stuff, across the sea there, I mean, if everyone's correct, we're facing a global food shortage next year, and he's cracking down on farmers. At what point do you go, hey, global food shortage, let's crack down on the farmers here in Canada?
Big bank.
I don't get it. This guy, I don't know how he's in charge. I don't know.
Look at the new carbon tax and things that are going to happen this year.
Yes.
Like it's just we're days away from that, and that's going to kill us, right? I have propane on the property, and I was told.
He's raising the carbon taxes to ridiculous.
Double.
So everyone's looking at fuel costs and stuff are going down, and this, and people are starting to be a little bit hopeful and going, okay, things
is going to jump.
Yep. Poof.
Oh, it'll inflate everything. It'll inflate fuel. A lot of things.
All our food, everything is going to go poof because of carbon tax.
The next election, we need to have an election in Canada.
But you know what? And see. I love what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I said the same thing. And I said this last time. But who are all the fucktards that keep voting for him?
Right.
Right? I'm serious here. It's like, and if you go to public or you're out with a group of people and you go, who voted Liberal?
Yeah. I think you need.
Nobody did. Well, how the fuck did he get in then? Right?
Well, I mean, again, I just throw this out there, but I think it's people that don't vote get him in there. I mean, if people actually, because what's the my big thing is like voter turnout. What's the percentage?
If everyone that could legally voted, that would make a difference for sure.
It would make a difference for sure.
Well, you know what? It doesn't.
Since like the
yes,
I don't know, the early 1900s.
Yeah,
the biggest turnout. The turnout doesn't make the vote better. It makes it more accurate. Right? You have that 20 or 30% that don't vote. You don't know where their mind's at. Right? You don't know why they're not voting.
Locally here, like, Oshawa and places like that. Some of the turnouts for like local elections is unbelievable, and that's where you start from the bottom. These people that think, it doesn't matter who gets in, I don't know what they do, they're all the same, piss in the same pot. You've got to get over that and go, no,
well,
you could make a difference.
You're right, George. I hear that all the time, and people go, what difference is my vote going to make?
Exactly.
They're all a bunch of assholes. Who am I going to vote for? Well, you know what? Stop with that stupid it's laziness, that lazy attitude, and find someone that they might all suck. Find the one that least sucks for you. All right? And pick them. Go out there, make that effort, get in your car, drive to the polling station, and vote for that person.
Yeah.
And if every single person would do that in the country,
well, it's your civic duty anyway to do that.
Well,
why aren't politicians held accountable?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Right? When Kathleen Wynne got rid of $64 billion of our dollars for canceling the plants, whatever.
There was that big project she canceled. Yes,
right?
Yes. Yeah, I was living in Ontario at the time, and I was mad as hell about that.
But people still voted for her. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, that was $64 billion. Like, here you go.
That was a power project, right?
Yeah. Hydro,
Not only that, she
and then sold Hydro One.
She messed with interest rates.
And it's like Trudeau last time. Everybody's like, "Oh, Trudeau, we got to vote him out." They still voted him in. What the hell, right?
Well,
the people that are campaigning for him are brilliant. They have done this every time. They've gone after the young people and said pot's legal. All the young people vote for him. Well, it took 4 fucking years before pot became legal. His entire term, right? And then he goes, "Oh, we're going to help the people coming into this country, blah, 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 all the immigrants." Now, he's got all the immigrant votes.
I gotta say, if we could pass one law in Canada, I would guarantee we could know who to vote for the best. One law.
What law?
Every politician running for government had to have on a shirt or a jacket who their sponsors were. Who paid the most money?
Funding,
Is Shell Gas donating the most to Trudeau's campaign? Is it Soros? Is it the big pharma that's donating the most to Trudeau? So if we had that one law passed where we had the right to know as voters who was paying the donations for these people, Irving, Shell, Pfizer, Moderna, who's putting the money in these guys' pockets? We'd know who to vote for.
Yes.
I mean, even like locally, because it's coming up local elections next month, right? Just a month away. I mean, if someone comes knocking on your door and going, "Are you going to vote for us?" You go, "Well, show us your financial whatever from the last election, 2018. Where did your money come from?" That is the question you should be asking them, right? Exactly the same thing what you're saying there.
They talk about transparency, but they don't want it. Not one politician would let you know who's lining their pockets. Nobody would do that.
And the huge thing that I've noticed over the last couple decade is voting and campaigning has completely changed. Politicians used to come on the air, on TV, on the radio, and they would campaign and tell their people what they're going to do for them.
Yep.
Have you heard of that in the last 10 years or longer?
No.
No.
In fact,
They
what
do
happened is-
not tell you what they're going to do for you. They just bitch about the other person and what they're going to do.
That's it. So the Liberals this year, what they did is they had a phone texting campaign, which I replied and I said, I don't know where you're getting my number from, but spam laws in Canada don't allow you to do that shit. So at their, discretion, they pulled all of of course they have our numbers, right? We file income tax every year, but for them to take a liberty on that, which I thought was totally unfair and unethical, to use our phones as a means to communicate, because they did it more than once and I replied more than once, which doesn't mean shit because they don't respond to it anyway. But they get to inject, we might as well be like fucking Russia. That to me is unfair. It is unfair to the other,
candidates.
I'll call them contestants, because they were in power. They could do that, right? And it's absolutely bullshit. So
on the smaller level of government, the last one that I had any respect for when I was still in Ontario was Jennifer French. She actually came, knocked on the door, and she was like, I'm bothering you. Do you have a minute? And she's like, I'd like you to vote for me. And I said, well, what will you do, or what are you saying you're going to do, and what at your level do you have the power to do? Because you can say I can do anything, but you may not have at your level of government. You may not have the authority to do it or the ability to do it.
That's right. Yeah.
What are you promising, and what can you deliver? And she's like, okay, well, I'd like to do this, but I can't. So I'm trying to support this person who can do, this other thing. And she sat and she was very straightforward about what she can do, what she can't do, what she'd like to do. And that was the last one I had any respect for, because no other politicians knocked on the door and bothered trying to talk to anyone. I get emails, from politicians, we'd like to have your vote. And even Pierre Polyev, I've had probably 6 spam emails from him in the last 2 weeks now. Like,
buddy, you know what? Somebody said it earlier in the show today, and politicians should be held accountable, right?
Absolutely.
Because you know what? A lot of them are following criminal behavior where they should actually be put in jail, because if we did that, we would be in jail.
Some of them are making laws so they can't get charged with criminal
they're
behavior
making their
while
own
they're in
laws up,
power.
and that's the Liberal government's been doing that over and over and over again. Is stuff is in their way, so quietly they sneak into one of the bills that people don't really know what's all in there, and they put a clause in there, and it kind of, they can wipe their hands of doing whatever the hell they want to do.
People are making fun of me. Gotta stop that.
Yeah.
Anyways, isn't it time to go?
Yeah, see what happens when you talk politics?
There you go.
Everyone gets angry and shit, and
They should just fucking nuke them all and start over.
Okay, so Derek wants to go to bed, is what he's really saying.
Well said by an angry young man.
We have to find.
Again, guys, thanks for having me.
Remember, we got to find the reptilians,
right,
and have them go eat them all.
I thought they were coming out August 14th.
I know.
They might have, but we might not have.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
See, I know, and we've heard that now too.
Wrong, and it's next August 14th.
Oh,
maybe.
No. We were told that it did happen, but it usually takes the media and everything about 3 or 4 months to catch up.
October, isn't it? Next month.
Yeah.
What was it that happened that the media hasn't caught up with?
The aliens or whatever the hell was supposed to happen on the 14th.
Epstein's still alive, and he didn't.
No, he's gone. They weren't letting him stick around. He was
Prince Andrew made sure of that.
Hey, you know what? We're still here.
That's right.
Richard,
knock on wood.
Okay, I have to say this, seeing that we are talking about the Royals. I am kind of upset that they let Andrew wear his military uniform and not, I can't remember his name, the Harry.
Yeah.
Harry?
Maybe he didn't want to.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think
maybe.
some of that was choice because one of them wore it for a little bit earlier in the ceremony and then had his morning suit or whatever it was on afterwards.
It maybe went on later because what we saw was the public one, but they were having a private, personal one later on as well. So maybe it did have. We just didn't.
I heard that's the one where they all wore their bathrobes. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. On that note, Heiko.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
But they have the royal crest on, so it's all right.
Yes. Well, you know what? It's great having people get involved in our show. We love talking to people. Richard, you've been a fan for years. We love having you on. We've had you a couple of times.
The show is always getting better. I love watching you guys.
Wow, that's really nice to hear. Thank you very much. We've had some great guests that we thought, they're pretty big up there and stuff. We've had them come on the show and they go, "Oh my God, I'll come back in a heartbeat." And we're like, "What?" So we're better than we think we are. But we got a great thing going here. We talk about a lot of different things, and it's always interesting. So thank you, Richard, for being on the show. It was great seeing you again.
Thank you.
And I want to thank the guests we had on tonight that were a part of our show. Sandra, again, number one, and Melanie, a close second. Richard, that must have been you. Keisha, Septic Man, and Kathy, thank you so much for being a part of the show. We'll be right back here next Monday night at 9:30 on the Heikadelic Show. Hope to see you then. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Stay good, be safe, and don't be stupid. Holy shit, what's going on?
Well, that's another wrap for the Heikadelic Show, folks, so time to get dirty. And don't forget, listen in next week on Monday night and every Monday after that for the Heikadelic Show at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like more information on the Heikadelic Show, please find us at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. We'll see you all next week on the Heikadelic Show. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor for the Heikadelic Show, it's easy. Just send us an email at info@theheikedelicshow.com. Meanwhile, you can browse our website at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. Click on our sponsor tab and find out more information on sponsorships. Thanks for joining the Heikadelic Show, fans.